If anybody tells you that Ipob is the one killing people in Oluzon, it is not correct. Wicked politicians are sponsoring the killings in Olu.
Breaking news and also good news. Hope Uzodinma of Imo State is now a full registered Ipob member, which is Indigenous People of Biafra. A full member with a membership card. Please do not kill me. Allow me to die before you bury me. Let me explain what I mean. Even after committing all the whole crimes he committed against the people of Imolites and the people of Biafra, he finally be the one to vindicate Nnamdi Kanu, even when we all are aware that he have hands on the detention of Nnamdi Kanu. But let me read the headline so that you will understand where I'm coming from and where I am heading to. Federal government's propaganda fails again. Ipob rejects media diversion tactics with worthless death certificate of Nnamdi Kanu. Do you all still remember that Uzodinma have come out openly and said that Ipob have nothing to do with the death of Nnamdi Kanu? That one is on one hand. Do you all still remember that Hope have come out openly and made it clear that the people who are busy killing and perpetuating the insecurity in Southeast are being imported in the dead of the night, and when they finish, the same people who bring them to Imo State will also take them back to where they are coming from? That is another sign that Hope have suddenly become an Ipob member. Because if when Hope is giving these details, or rather when he's giving this state broadcast, and also the interview he had with Channels Television, I think Sheun Okimbaleya, he wouldn't have known that this kind of thing would arise. If not, he wouldn't have given such such interview. He wouldn't have made such comments. But as God may have it, as I keep saying it, and I will also repeat myself again, when the God is on your matter, my brother, every other enemy becomes your friend. In fact, they will be your savior. They want to attribute the death of Gulak to Nnamdi Kanu in 2021, precisely May 30. But Hope Uzodinma have cleared the air even before they are thinking of bringing this. And I'm not sure, I'm very, very sure, or rather, I am not sure that DSS knows that Hope, the governor of Imo State, as of then, have already made some statements concerning regarding this issue. So you have now understand why I said that Hope Uzodinma is now a full-fledged Biafra and also an ID carrier of Ipob. You get the point now? So you will not come and say, why must I make such a comment? And don't be surprised when I use that as the headline of this news. Because Hope vindicated Nnamdi Kanu and also all the whole Ipobs who have been held in different zoos, correctional facilities. Hope, though, if you are following my channel very well, you found out that this is the first time I used his name correctly. I used to call him Hopeless Uzodinma, but now he is Hope Uzodinma. Not minding that this monkey spent over 2.1 billion naira to send Almajiris, who they call Muslims, to Hajj. As I'm talking to you now, Hope. The jet flied all the way from Saudi Arabia and landed in Imo State to convert these people to Medina. Oh, baby, kuve. If na Aisha Yusuf, nothing where Adamu no go see forget. How many times have you heard that the Muslims paid millions or billions of naira to send Christians to Israel to pilgrimage? How many times? It is never. It can never. It will never. And cannot. Would not and should not. They dare not try it. For the flight to be coming from Saudi Arabia speaks volume that Saudi is the reason why the southeast and the Biafra land is in disarray. They have hands in what is happening. But they will play the devil's advocate on being on the side while using Igbo people against their own people. They are the sponsors of all these things, so if you don't know. Don't forget that this same Saudi Arabian went to Ibrahim Traore. They want to build over 200 mosques. Instead, convert those 200 mosques to 200 schools or 200 hospitals or 200 factories where my people will get to work. They ran. But they spent over $650 billion in U.S. economy under trade agreement. Well, what Africans get. So what is happening in Imo State today and also in Biafra land? The sponsors of all these things now have been made open. Saudi Arabia hand is in it 100%. Let us continue. Tinubu economic reforms making Nigeria invisible. UK envoy. I know they will praise him. They have been paid to do so. If Amnesty International will come out and tell you that what happened in Okigwe and Omonolo is being authenticated by Ipob, which has no any period investigation, then what do you expect? Anything Nigerian government, Tinubu and APC cannot do does not exist. They borrow money to pay people. They borrow money to silence people. And they borrow money to bribe people to say negative things against the ones they hate. And borrow money to pay those to praise them both on social media, online and offline. Nnamdi Kanu's legal team shines as Fulani government witness struggles under cross-examination. He broke down in tears. In fact, he keep on crying. I never see anything. The ancestors of Biafra land is at work. Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience, unlawfully detained. Ipob officials released this statement some couple of hours ago. Anyway, my good people of Biafra, I beg now here we go kickstart this news. Help me drop your opinion on what you think concerning these matters at the comment section. Let us continue. Like, share, comment, and keep subscribing for more interesting videos. The indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, categorically condemns the latest desperate attempt by the Fulani government and its compromised media to divert public attention from the disgraceful collapse of their case against our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Rather than report on the embarrassing cross-examination of their confused witness, known as PWBBB, who admitted under oath that no investigation report exists to support the politically motivated charges. The media is awash with irrelevant stories about the tendering of a death certificate that have nothing to do with Nnamdi Kanu. Let it be known that the so-called death certificate of Ahmed Gulak, former heir to ex-President Jonathan, has no evidentiary value whatsoever in the context of the ongoing trial the Fulani Government Prosecuting Council, Awomolo, SAN, acting with shocking dishonesty, attempted to introduce evidence after closing his examination in chief. An unethical and unacceptable legal maneuver designed only to mark the shame of a failed prosecution. It is important to set the record straight. The sit-at-home observance declared by Ipob for the annual 30th May Remembrance Day in 2021 was held on Monday 31st May 2021, not Sunday the 30th. Gulak was murdered on the Sunday, a full day before the observance. This timeline along dismantles the fabricated claim that Ipob had any involvement in his death. The attempt to retrofit this tragic event into their crumbling narrative is not just deceitful, it is criminal. We remind the world that this is not the first time the Nigerian state has weaponized misinformation and historical revisionism to justify ethnic persecution, just as the 1960s coup was falsely labeled an Igbo coup to ignite the genocidal war against our people. They now seek to frame Ipob for every act of state-engineered violence in the southeast. We call on all responsible media outlets to return to the core principles of journalism, truth, accuracy, and objectivity, and to demand the full transcript of court proceedings before parroting governmental propaganda. The world is watching. Nnamdi Kanu remains a prisoner of conscience, unlawfully detained in violation of local and international law. No amount of lies, death certificates, or courtroom gimmicks will stop the truth. We demand its immediate and unconditional release. The British High Commission to Nigeria, Richard Montgomery, has praised Bola Ahmed Tinubu's economic reforms, describing them as big and bold initiatives that have transformed Nigeria into a more attractive destination for investors. How many people invested? These people, God will go punish all of you. God will turn the way go punish you, idiots. He's still doing press up in Sambisa Forest. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja on Wednesday, Montgomery acknowledged that the UK's interest in Nigeria is growing, citing the positive impact of recent economic policies. I have been very public previously about commending the big and bold economic reforms being taken by His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Montgomery stated. Highlighting key policy changes, he pointed to the abolition of fuel subsidies and the unification of the exchange rate system as crucial steps toward economic stability. According to him, these measures are already yielding results, positioning Nigeria as a more invisible nation. My headline this morning is that these economic reforms are paying off, and they are now making Nigeria more invisible. He added, invisible or visible. Montgomery, however, acknowledged the economic strain on Nigerians due to rising inflation, currently hovering in the mid-20% range. He noted that while the reforms are transformative, their benefits might take time to materialize fully. Maybe when Nigerians have died finish, and the UK citizens will come then to enjoy that reforms. Thunder will fire your entire generation. I realize that some of these reforms for ordinary people are painful. Inflation is still high. It is in the 20% territory, the mid-20s, and it is going to take time to bring that rate down. He remarked, it's going to take time. Maybe by that time, population of Nigeria will reduce. Despite the current economic challenges, the High Commission expressed optimism, predicting that inflation rate will begin to ease over the coming months and years, further solidifying Nigeria's position as an attractive investment hub. Nnamdi Kanu's legal team shines as Fulani's government witnessed struggles under cross-examination. The trial of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, resumed today at the Fulani High Court in Abuja, with the defense team scoring major points during the cross-examination of the second prosecution witness. Igbere TV reports that led by respected legal luminary Kanu Agabi SAN, the defense exposed significant contradictions and lapses in the persecution cases. The witness, an investigator, admitted multiple times that he lacked knowledge of key elements, including whether the charges have been amended or dropped, and whether proper legal procedures were followed in detaining Kanu since 2021. During questioning, the witness confessed to being unaware that the charges have been pending for almost a decade before Kanu's rendition, and could not confirm whether the IPOB leader had been subjected to prolonged solitary confinement, an act that violates international human rights standards. At one point, his inability to recall facts triggered laughter in the courtroom. The witness. The defense also questioned the credibility of a directive from the former Attorney General of the Federation, which seems to have influenced the investigation's outcome even before it was completed. The witness could not provide clarity on whether proper investigation was done independently of that directive. Today's proceedings highlighted not only the strength and the unity of Kanu's team, comprising over a dozen senior lawyers from different regions, but also raised serious questions about the legality and the integrity of the ongoing prosecution. The case was adjourned to May 21 and 22, 2025 for continuation of trial. Supporters of Nnamdi Kanu are optimistic, calling for justice and transparency in a case that has attracted both national and international attention, according to the information. Nnamdi Kanu is a prisoner of conscience, unlawful detained. Ipob media space. The indigenous people of Biafra has learned what it describes as the latest desperate attempt by the Fulani government and some sections of the media to divert public attention from the alleged disrespectful collapse of their case against its leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Ipob, while describing Kanu as a prisoner of conscience, being unlawfully detained in violation of local and international laws, accused the Fulani government of concocting and fabricating lies to nail him instead of reporting on the embarrassing cross-examination of their witness, known as PWBBB, who admitted under oath that no investigation report exists to support the politically motivated charges against Nnamdi Kanu. According to a statement by its media and publicity secretary Ima Powerful, titled "Federal Government Propaganda Fails Again," the group rejects media diversion tactics with that it called the worthless death certificate of Ahmed Gulak. Ipob stated further that the federal government was trying to link Gulak's death to the group or Kanu, who knows nothing about it, in order to further delay the case. The indigenous people of Biafra, Ipob, categorically condemns the latest desperate attempt by the Fulani government and its compromised media to divert public attention from the disgraceful collapse of their case against Onyendu Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Rather than report on the embarrassing cross-examination of their confused witness, known as PWPBB, who admitted under oath that no investigation report exists to support politically motivated charges, the media is awash with irrelevant stories about the tendering of a useless death certificate. Let it be known that the so-called death certificate of Ahmed Gulak, former heir to ex-President Jonathan, has no evidentiary value whatsoever in the context of the ongoing trial and have no link to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. The Fulani Government Prosecuting Council, Awomolo SAN, acting with shocking dishonesty, attempted to reintroduce evidence after closing his examination in chief, an unethical, acceptable legal maneuver designed only to mark the shame of a failed prosecution. It is important to set the record straight. The sit-at-home observance declared by Ipob for the annual 30th May Remembrance Day in 2021 was held on Monday, 31st May 2021, not Sunday the 30th. Gulak was murdered on Sunday, a full day before the observance. This time alone dismantles the fabricated claim that Ipob had any involvement in his death. The attempt to retort this tragic event into their crumbling narrative is not just deceitful, but it is a criminal offense against the defendant. We remind the world that this is not the first time the Nigerian state has weaponized misinformation and historical revisionism to justify their ethnic persecution. The statement reads in part. So, my good people, I hope the headlines I'm reading here, or I read out here, I'm able to convince you, but not to confuse you, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is innocent, and he will walk free soon from the den of the lions called DSS. So have a nice day. May the good Lord continue to bless us all. Like, share, comment, and make sure you keep subscribing for more interesting videos. Kiemesiano, my wonderful people.